Hi everyone, this is Thea from the Cocoa Bloom Makeup Studio. Today I'll be working on the lovely Kalisha, and I'll be featuring a very basic eyeshadow look. I hope you enjoy it. So here's a little trick that I'm doing. I'm applying a white foundation in this case over the lid. If you don't have white foundation hanging around at home, which I know most people don't, just use a white pencil liner and cover the lid. Notice how everything's a bit messy? That's because I like to do the eyeshadow first so that I don't worry about messing up the foundation. That's another tip. Okay, so I'm applying the first layer of this beautiful ocean blue with my finger, and that's because I want an opaque finish. I'm going to follow it up with brushes, but the first layer I want to put on pretty heavy. And notice how I'm going beyond the crease. That's what you want to do. You want to apply the base color up and above the crease so that the eye looks bigger and wider and you see more of that brilliant blue. Okay, so I'm applying the blue on now with the brush, and the bristles on the brush are tightly woven, which means that you'll have more of a stronger finish with the pigment. If you were to use like a soft bristle brush, you'd have more of a translucent finish. Okay, moving along. Notice how I'm blending out the edges? This is really important. Do not use the same brush that you put the shadow on the lid with to blend, okay? Use a brush that has no shadow on it. That way you're not adding color to the lid. You're just blending and softening out the edges. And once you've blended them out really well, preferably with a soft bristle brush, then you're ready for the next step, which is contour. All right, so here's the thing to remember. When you're working with a darker shade of skin tone, avoid dark brown shadows that have gray in them. What I'm using is a brown berry shade. Okay, so it's very important because it's warm and it has a little hint of red in it, which works really well with dark skin tones. So I'm applying with one brush, and then I'm going to blend out with, again, a brush that has no shadow on it, just to soften it out. Notice also how I've applied it above the crease. So I'm not in the crease. I want the eye to look bigger. So go to the brow bone. Leave some space where the highlighter shade will go, but don't be afraid to go beyond the crease. Okay, so here we're just blending it out, and now I'm ready to apply some liner. Okay, first stage is a liquid liner. It leaves a nice hard line, which is very polished. I'm making it very thin, so it's just along the lash line to give fullness to the lashes. And then I'm going to follow it with a gel liner. And this I'm using an angled brush, and I'm using a gel liner because it's softer, a little bit more fluid, leaving a bit of a wider line and a more definitive wing. Okay, and then again, we're going over that with a black matte shadow, bringing the wing a little bit higher, and then taking the black matte and going like just a bit of a quarter into the crease. And this is just to add some depth to the look. And then I'm just going to blend it out. Notice also, if you can see, I've put some gold shadow underneath her brow for a highlight shade. Okay, just before we add the lashes, I'm going to put some mascara on. And then once that's done, I'm ready to put some concealer under her eyes. Now when you're using concealer for dark skin tones, make sure that it's yellow based. And when applying it, don't forget to go into the inner corner of where the eye meets the bridge of the nose and blend that out well. I have again applied just a little bit of powder liner under her eyes using just like a soft black, and then I'm going to mascara over the lashes and her own lashes again for more definition. Now I'm ready to do the brows. This is the one time where I don't mind if I mix a brown berry with a bit of gray. Ashy colors for brows works well. Actually, it works much better than a brown berry. It would look a little bit too artificial. So mix whatever brown berry shade you have with a little bit of a charcoal gray, and then apply to the brow, just with an angled brush. And I'm making sure that I'm doing it with a powder so that it leaves a softer finish. Okay, so now what you're seeing here is I'm going to custom blend Kalicia's foundation color. And I'm mixing like just a blend of like a red brown and a yellow brown, applying it to the skin. You know you have a good match when you don't really see it. And then once the face is done, I'm going to add a bit of dimension. I'm going to blend in an extra bit of yellow into the foundation shade. And I'm going to make that color a bit lighter. So I have a nice deep yellow brown. And I'm going to add it to the cheekbones and the bridge of her nose. And what this does is it adds a little bit of dimension. Especially when you're working with darker skin tones, it's important that you don't have one-dimensional color. So, playing up on that fact, after I powder her face, I'm going to give a little bit of gold shimmer, kind of echoing what I did under her brow, just to her cheekbone, and then a hint of a coral blush on her cheeks. Coral works very, very well with all skin tones. Just look for a blush with a little bit of orange in it, so a pinky orange. Orange is a key. Same with the lip color, which you see here in the palette. We'll get to that in a second. But first, okay, I'm lining out her lips. I'm going to even out her lip tone, which is a combination of a darker skin tone and a bit of a pink skin tone, first with a brown berry lip liner. So once you do that, which is lining the lips, filling it in fully, you're just going to take a brush and blend it well together. Okay, and now I'm going to take this kind of a bright, kind of a coral color, and I'm putting a little bit of white in it to make it a neutral, because another rule that we go by is that if you have a really strong eye color, which she does with the blue, then the lips need to be a little bit more neutral, just to play off the eyes, because the eyes are the focal point. So what I've done is I have taken that base kind of a coral shade, lightened it a bit with a bit of white, and then I've put a little bit of brown in it too, just to give it some depth. And then once applying it to her lips, just make sure that it's well blended with the lip liner. And to finish off the look, I'm going to put a little bit of gold, actually it's eyeshadow, gold powder just in the center to give a little bit of dimension. I think I've used that word a lot. Sorry, but I can't think of anything other than dimension, and that's really what we want. And that's basically the finished look.